Do you often find yourself wondering if the person you're looking at feels the same way about your emotions? Trying to figure out if someone sees you as more than simply a friend is a feeling we've all felt at some point. It's a difficult subject that might overwhelm you, leading you to wonder if the subtle cues you're experiencing are real, or just a product of your imagination. Learn the hidden signs that reveal her genuine emotions, the keys to determining if she's genuinely interested in you now. Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel before we go into these signs. You will be able to recognize these signs and save unnecessary stress and uncertainty. I promise you. Furthermore, what the hey? Making changes to your love life could have a profound impact. What I'm going to share might change your outlook on relationships forever, so hang on to the end. To set the stage, let's use something that everyone has been through: rejection. Maybe you've been in a position where you were really open and honest about how you felt, and all you got in return was a smile or an attempt to brush it off. When we're hurt emotionally by rejection, we could be hesitant to open up again, which makes it more likely that we won't notice when a woman shows interest in us. What I mean is that certain ladies give off the impression that they are interested, even when they don't say a word. Sign 1. Her eyes say what she doesn't. Did you ever feel like time stood still when you locked eyes with someone? When she looks at you for longer than usual, and you can almost hear her thoughts drifting while the two of you enjoy a quiet moment together? Trust me when I say this, it's not a coincidence. The eyes, which are sometimes said to be the windows to the soul, have a great deal of influence in the area of attraction. Did you feel a connection when you gazed into someone else's eyes recently? Perhaps a hint of a hidden message? The two things are not random. When someone is interested in you, it shows more through your eye contact than you think. Sitting in a room with a few others, you notice her glancing across the room. Quickly you look away, uncertain if she noticed. She remains fixated on you no matter how many times you turn around. The change is subtle yet discernible. Her gaze is analytical and purposeful. As the moment goes on, you may tell she's drawn to you because her pupils will widen and her eyes will soften. Can you remember the last time someone stared at you so intensely that your heart raced? Maybe it was a secret crush or a friendship that blossomed into something more. A connection of this depth is unusual, but when it does occur, it is unforgettable. In addition, especially from women, that kind of intense stare should raise red flags. Then why does a person's attractiveness make us look at them more closely? This is an expected response. When we exchange glances, it's a sign that we want to be closer and share more information. She wants you to pay attention when she steals glances at you, even when she thinks you're not looking. You can feel the signals in her eyes, like a gentle request to be closer, even though she can't say them herself. Furthermore, this is not an isolated incident. You can tell she's thinking about you more than you realize by the way she stares at you for lengthy periods of time and makes constant eye contact. For those who have never experienced complete solitude, ask yourself, when was the last time you locked eyes with another human being and felt completely alone? Considering the outcome of that feeling is the next step. Imagining being able to perform the same thing to another person is mind-blowing. When you look into her eyes again, be patient. Hold on a second, continue searching. Be on the lookout for signs of a deeper connection taking shape. What you are reading is, in fact, just the prologue to a much longer story. Sign 2. She finds reasons to be near you. To be completely honest, have you ever been in a situation where someone seems to be around constantly? You see her seated nearby at a party. You go to grab some and she just so happens to be in the same coffee shop. Plus, it keeps happening. It's as if the universe itself has orchestrated your meeting, hasn't it? Is this just a coincidence or is something more happening? Pause and think about this. If a lady keeps running into you, even when it's not logical, it's a sign that she's really into you. This is about creating chances for her to interact with you, going beyond just being close, whether she knows it or not. Imagine this, you're deep in discussion with someone at a party, and then she just appears and starts talking to you. Despite what you might think, this is not an accident. Her heart longs for your presence. She clearly finds it attractive, despite its modesty. It's almost as if we're hardwired to gravitate toward our romantic interests. You're the only one who will notice this psychological phenomenon, but most people miss it. If you observe this pattern closely, you will see her efforts to get closer. Have you ever experienced the overwhelming want to be with another person? They captivate you, and you find yourself longing for the few occasions when you two can have a laugh, a chat, or even simply be in the same room. This is something she is doing as well. One way she demonstrates her appreciation for being in your company is by inviting you to join a group you're already a member of, offering a little assistance, or simply showing up when she knows you'll be there. Have you ever experienced an intense need to be physically close to another person? If so, when was the last time? Here we see the law of attraction in action. And since she's doing this with you, it's obvious she loves being around you. It has nothing to do with chance or practicality, and everything to do with the ambition to increase the number of chances for connection. When you notice her loitering around, whether in this room or the one next to it, you should be careful. This is not an accident. In your absence, she is frantically looking for ways to get your attention, which she craves covertly. Furthermore, what the hey? Maybe that small spark will grow into something far bigger. Sign 3. Her body language speaks louder than words. As the old adage goes, don't tell when it comes to making a good impression. To understand her true emotions, ignore her words and focus on her nonverbal cues, such as her posture, hairstyle, and eye contact. I want you to think about this while you're talking to her. You notice something strange. As you speak, she creeps closer, her shoulders cocked and occasionally even her feet pointing directly at you. With her body cocked toward you, she is completely exposed. In a more relaxed setting, her behavior would be different. Still, she can't help but lean toward you as a result of her desire. It demonstrates that she isn't just physically there, she is also emotionally committed. Someone likely piqued your love attention at some point in your history. It was that irresistible pull that made you look into their eyes and sway to the beat of the music. Will it not happen eventually? If we want to get to know a woman better, we can show it by acting like she's interested in us. Is this a little closer to her usual distance? Does she feel the urge to change her outfit or play with her hair whenever you're in the room? These things show that she is making an effort to impress you. Perhaps some of you might remember a time when you notice someone's body language shifting or even giving off an apprehensive vibe around you. Maybe her body language or posture shifted ever so slightly when she saw you were there. These nonverbal movements, which extend beyond just physical movement, allow her to convey her feelings. Our natural inclination is to associate with things or people that intrigue us, which makes this matter all the more intriguing. She wants more than just a casual chat when she leans in closer, makes eye contact, or even mimics your movements. She is showing her readiness for a deeper bond by reaching out to you. The next time you're around her, pay attention to her subtle cues. Her curiosity is far more apparent when you learn to read her nonverbal clues than when she speaks. Since body language isn't deceitful, she hopes you'll notice her and perhaps take things further by following these signs. Sign 4, she finds excuses to touch you. Are you aware of how a slight prod or touch on the arm can cause your heart rate to increase? It's hard to ignore the power of physical touch, especially when it's unexpected or accidental. Imagine yourself in the middle of a group of people laughing at a joke you told them. Then suddenly someone brushes into you or softly touches your shoulder. Then, as if it were an automatic response or an impulse she couldn't resist, she does it again. It's not a coincidence that she's trying to gently draw you closer to each other. Think on what has happened in your own life. Have you ever felt the rush that comes when the person you care about finds a way to touch you? Maybe it was a comforting hug that stayed for a little longer than expected, or a hand that suddenly reached out to touch your arm. Temporary as they may be, those moments can stop the hands of time. Physical touch, particularly intentional touch, is one of the strongest signals of desire. Imagine this. She playfully knocks into you, delicately removes a stray lint from your shoulder, or picks up an item on your clothing. These apparently minor elements have been meticulously considered. She can make you feel comfortable and drawn in without saying a word. She might not even realize how often she does it, since it is a natural, human reaction to love attraction. She is carefully observing your reaction to gauge your level of interest in her, as if playing a subtle game of closeness. Everybody loves it when their crush touches them, even if it's just for a second. A small movement could trigger an electric shock, as if they were affirming your correctness. She will find an excuse to touch you. So be careful the next time she tries to do so, whether it's a high-five turned squeeze or a playful shove that appears more intentional than accidental. She wants to communicate with you by being physically close to you, which is one of the most noticeable signs of attraction. Additionally, it is normal to experience a surge of butterflies in the stomach when the person you are attracted to indicates a want to be with you. Sign 5. She remembers the small things about you. When someone remembers a funny story you told them a long time ago, isn't it a wonderful surprise? Maybe it was the name of your beloved band or that insignificant detail in a film that you absolutely admire. Whenever someone shocked you by remembering a small but important fact, do you remember it? You felt appreciated and noticed, didn't you? When she remembers those specifics, it's a clear sign that you're on her mind more often than you would suppose. Think about it. You mentioned your favorite coffee order in passing a while back, and the next time you're out with her, she either remembers or surprises you by bringing it up. However, it's also possible that she brings up a memory from your childhood that you shared with her, making it sound as important as it actually was. Going to such lengths to remember such details demonstrates a high level of concentration on detail, the kind of stuff that the typical person would pass over. Put yourself in her shoes for a second and think about this. When we're interested in someone, details about them seem to stick out more. In our minds, we seem to be amassing a priceless collection of special moments, details, and common ground. When we care deeply about someone, even the tiniest things become more meaningful. The fact that even something you mentioned to her a few times remains in her memory is evidence that she values you highly enough to remember it. Think about it. When was the last time you forgot a little tidbit about someone you cared about? Their favorite hobby, a story they told, or even their birthday could have been the reason. When you mentioned it, their face went from surprised to delighted. How did you feel? That's the effect of caring for someone else and making them feel valued. Whenever she remembers any minor thing about you, that is precisely what she is doing. So it's not simply a nice memory. It's her way of showing how much she means to you. If she's constantly bringing up minor details of your life, subtly showing her compassion for you is her method of expressing it. You might be more than just a friend to her if you notice the tiny things. Because most people don't. Sign 6. She gets nervous around you. While you're around, someone acts a little more fidgety. Maybe they mess with their hair, wear different clothes, or fumble words. At first look, these signs of concern might not appear to be significant, yet they can really be powerful indicators of desire. When was the last time you were anxious around someone you liked? In what ways did you deal with that challenge? Have you ever worried that you would make a poor impression and then second-guessed yourself? Think of yourself sitting across from her, having what should be a casual conversation, until you notice that she's tapping her foot or playing with her jewelry. Maybe she's not quite coherent, or maybe her laughter in reaction to your jokes is a little too loud. Her nervousness shows out in these uncontrollable ways because she can't tear her eyes away from how she looks in your eyes. In every gesture, she conveys the message, this person is important to me, and I would hate to ruin this for them. Just pretend you were in the presence of someone you cared deeply about. Feeling a bit shy from time to time is very normal. You could even find yourself smiling or flushing a bit more than usual. We all want the people we care about to think the best of us. So when we're feeling vulnerable, our defense goes up. Her concern for making a positive impression reveals her deep emotional investment in you. There are times when this is a good thing. How often do you find yourself nervous around other people, simply because you can't stop thinking about what others think? Did you realize you were being self-conscious about how you looked or how carefully you chose your words? If you've been there, you know how she feels just being around you. The fact that she is showing you these uncontrollable signs of fear suggests that you are more than just a casual acquaintance in her eyes. If you see that she squirms or laughs at your every remark, just know that she is trying to show you how much she cares. Her shyness is an indication that she is eager to impress you. Therefore, she is more than simply friendly. When we're alone for a time, our guard comes down and our emotions speak louder than words ever could. Why understanding these signs matters. If you're not interested in learning her feelings, there's no use in going to all this work. Why? Reason being, you won't have to doubt yourself or your skills if you know what to look for. Lessen the blow of rejection. When you know how to tell when someone genuinely cares about you, feel free to speak your mind once you've achieved that level of confidence. The burden of rejection is great. However, you can handle relationships with greater assurance and less anxiety if you pay attention to these signs. Love isn't as mysterious as it seems once you figure out how to read the dance of its subtle signals. It will lead you to someone who cares about you deeply. A quick recap before we wrap up. Finally, be wary of her actions if she seems utterly enamored with you, constantly trying to get closer to you, showing signs of open body language, remembering stories you've told her, playfully teasing you, or divulging details about her personal life. These are all red flags that she may have ulterior motives beyond friendship. She is attempting to communicate through these signs that I see something special in you. If you find yourself in her company again, be mindful of these cues. Take note of these indicators, remain vigilant, and approach it confidently. Never lose sight of the possibility of meeting your soulmate because of the nuances of your attraction. With that stated, I'll catch you later, and thank you for checking in.